Let's talk about something cool. Zelle is one of the coolest things to come along since a long time. Introduced last year, Zelle lets you transfer money between bank accounts in different banks instantly for free. Zelle was under development for a while, then just showed up without warning. Support for and from most major American banks was built in on day one. Poof! Now it works just the way it's described, and that's trouble for the PayPals of the world. PayPal thought they were smart when they bought Venmo, but Venmo does account transfers overnight, not instantly. With Zelle, you send money from one bank to another, and it's transferred on the spot. And Zelle has a problem. I've been using Zelle since the day it arrived, and I loved it day one and every day in between, until one of my banks changed its policies. When I decided to close a checking account at Bank of America and replace it with one from Capital One, I discovered that both because of those accounts were linked to the same email address, there were some huge hoops to jump through. It's a problem, but it's not even the problem. The problem with Zelle is that its member banks aren't telling a consistent story about the hoops. Consumers can't talk to Zelle, which is by design. Neither, it seems, can the banks talk to Zelle, at least not informally when they have to clear up issues. I asked Bank of America how to get them to release my email address, and they said it would happen automatically when the account was closed, and that turned out to be wrong. I asked Capital One how to get them to take it, and they said associating an address with the Zelle gateway would do the trick. Last in would rule, they assured me. Also wrong. Zelle has a problem, and now Jeff had one. In fact, the most basic tenet of Zelle interbank play, that an email address can only be associated with one bank, isn't even correct either. A Bank of America relationship manager told me about that and explained it. You can only receive money at one bank, but if you associate multiple accounts with one email address, they can all send money to that one account. And I'll assume that that's true. He had no reason to make it up. What I found out this week was that there is no take it, as Capital One had described. When I hooked them up, Capital One became the second bank in line to use the email address that Bank of America was already using with Zelle, but it couldn't receive funds, and Bank of America's instructions that once I closed my B of A account, it would get out of the way. Well, it turned out to be wrong. As I said, I tried sending money to Capital One after the Bank of America account was confirmed closed with a zero balance, and that money went to Bank of America, which, yes, unzeroed the balance and may mean my account's not closed anymore. But it didn't reopen that account, or so they say. There's a bit of money in there. At least that's what Bank of America claims. I can't see the account anymore. It is likely still closed, but I can't confirm the part about the balance or anything. What all of this comes down to may be that Zelle has no problem at all, but Zelle is creating problems. Problems for its partners, problems for banking customers, problems for itself. But not as long as the banks keep playing with Zelle and shielding Zelle from mere mortals. And with no Zelle substitute on the horizon, there is no reason to believe Zelle cares. But there is a cautionary tale here. Zelle sits in a perfect position, performing a service for a lot of big and traditionally unnimble players with very little incentive to leave Zelle for someone else. That said, we've seen multiple examples of coulda, shoulda, woulda money exchange services from the big companies trying to be your favorite middleman. I stopped caring about Google Wallet years ago, for example, and I've never witnessed anyone, not once, actually use that tap-to-pay thing with their Apple Watch. Not once, and I live in New York City. At the end of it, this all comes down to customer service, so yes, Zelle has a problem, and regardless of how it plays out, they need to address it. Not sure you have your customer service issues under control? Let's talk. I'm the answer guy, and I'll be back.